Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Kmu Live Podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Jabruggi, and joining me again this week is Derek Relaford. How's it going down there, Derek?
Okay, man. How are you doing?
I'm getting by.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
I still got my hat from the place where you work, $1.79.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
bought 3 of them. Best $1.80 I ever spent in my life, man.
Yeah, this past weekend, I went to my 40-year class reunion. It's like, have I really been out of high school 40 years now? Oh, my gosh.
Was there a lot of people there that you knew, or did a lot of people not go at that point?
It was probably about 40 or 50 of us that showed up. It was a pretty good-sized crowd.
I've never been to a reunion because I usually live out of far away.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea of a reunion, but I've noticed like a lot of my friends are just like, ew, I don't want to see anybody from high. Like a lot of people hated high school, the experience of high school. They don't want to go to reunions, but like I think it would be really cool to hang out with people from back in the day for a night.
Oh, man. And it looks like we got Christopher Unruh in here. Hey, Christopher, and Ellen's here. Kelly Upoff's back with us. Hey, Kelly, how you been? Haven't seen you in a while. Rodney, how you doing? And I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but Araceli Garcia, hello from Overland Park. How are you doing? I can hear my phone buzzing, but I got a call coming in, but I can't take it right now. So she will have to leave me a message. Yeah.
We've actually been live since 2020. There's been probably, since 2020, there's been probably a year and a half where we were off air. But pretty much since 2020, we've been doing lives on. Well, we used to do it Tuesdays and Thursdays. We went on Wednesday night for going on about a year now, though.
Yeah, it seems to work better just Wednesday nights instead of because we would do Tuesday one week, Thursday the next, Tuesday then Thursday, then Tuesday then Thursday because of my work schedule. But now that I have the department manager I have now, she's keeping me pretty consistent. Wednesdays off, and if she does schedule me on a Wednesday, it's like usually 8:30 to 5. So I've got home. I can get home, do what I got to do, finalize things for the show, and still be ready for the show. So she's really working with me on this, and I'm really gratefully really appreciative. So
yeah,
if you're watching, boss, thank you.
Every once in a while, you'll have like a meeting. Every once in a while, you'll have like a Wednesday night meeting, but other than that, you've pretty much been able to do a show every Wednesday night uninterrupted.
Yeah. Well, they've even changed that to where instead of like once every other month, now it's like once a quarter.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
I was like, I'll take it. If it's only going to be once a quarter, even better. So they're really changing things up. So.
I'm just going to throw that out there. Well, let's go ahead and get into some cases. If you're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved, please share the show to a friend. Help us find some of these people and get them where they need to be. We'll be right back after this.
And see, you got Alyssa Ripley from Wichita, and Queenie's here. How you doing, Queenie? And before we really get into some cases, I want to cover a couple things here real fast. You guys might have seen this flyer on the page. Mari Christian, Wichita police have come out and said they've found what they're pretty sure is her body, and it's pending autopsy. I usually don't put them up yet until they actually announce, but I did this time. I haven't put it on the page yet, but I will. But I did this time because they've already made an arrest and charged somebody with her murder already. And this is a guy that they've charged, Kyle Sam Bearden. He's 31 years old. They've already charged him with murder in the first degree, $1 million bond on that one, contempt of court, $2,500 bond on that one. And they've also got him, he's got 2 fugitive from justice warrants out of New Mexico. So they've got him in custody and charged in Mariana's case. So I wanted to update everybody on that. And then as of today, we have surpassed 97,000 followers. So gratefully appreciative to that and thanking everybody for that. And I put a post up on that earlier today. And it's just, every time we roll another plateau, it blows me away. It humbles me, and I'm grateful and appreciative. And just grateful for the support I've had in the last 13 years and just keep hoping to move forward like we're doing. So, but let's get back to cases here now. We will start with Haley Davis, a case that's become close to me over the last couple of years because they have not been able to find her yet. And she's missing from Salina, Kansas since July 21st, 2023. 19 years old. She's when she went missing. She's now 21, 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. She left Salina, Kansas with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita, Kansas. She was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st. Wichita police say that the investigation has led them to believe that Haley may be deceased. And when she went missing, she was 19. She's now 21. She is 5'6" to 5'7" inches tall, weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, you know her whereabouts or the location of her remains. And I took that wording directly from a post that Wichita police had put on their Facebook when they were asking for information. Please call Detective Owen at 316-268-4185, or you can email him at aowen@wichita.gov. You can remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers 316-267-2111 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 or 1-800-572-7463. Or you can scan that Crime Stoppers QR code down there at the bottom, and it'll take you to a form on the Crime Stoppers website that you can fill out and submit information anonymously that way as well. So let's see what we can do to get Haley located and back to where she needs to be. Hey, Reneda's in here. Reneda Hubbard, she's in here. And I'm not sure I'm going to say this right, but Deanta Long is here from Lawrence, and she commented on my 90,000 follower post and asked me to share Wanda Dyer's Facebook group, which is, I believe, Find Wanda Dyer, and share her flyer, which I have it on the lineup to share later, a little bit later. But I do have her set up for the show tonight. And this one's Lori Heimer, another one from around my neck of the woods here in Saline County. It's an unsolved murder. She was brutally murdered in a rural Kansas area home on June 25th, 2016. And if you look at that little Five of Diamonds playing card in the lower right-hand corner, it alludes to the fact that she was stabbed to death. She ran her business, Lori's Poodle Patch, from her home. She was a licensed breeder of miniature-sized poodles and was licensed through the state of Kansas. Kansas Bureau of Investigation was contacted to assist the Saline County Sheriff's Department in the investigation. They responded with agents and their crime scene response team. During the investigation, 2 vehicles of interest were developed. Vehicle 1 was said to be an older flatbed pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet, which is described as beat up, maroon in color with a white front bumper, silver grille, and wide-style side mirrors. The driver was described as a man who was 50 years of age or older with salt and pepper hair. The second vehicle was an older style, small pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet S10 with a 2-tone paint job, dark blue on the top and the bottom with light blue in the middle, a silverback bumper, and a newer blue tailgate that appeared to have minimal damage when compared to the body of the truck. The remainder of the vehicle is described as beat up and scratched up. There may have also been 2 animal cages or crates in the back. The driver of the second vehicle was described as a white male, approximately 40 years of age, with shoulder-length hair and wearing glasses. Investigators have said they would like to locate these 2 vehicles. They would also like to speak to anyone that had any contact or a business appointment with Lori at any time between June 20th and 25th of 2016. If you have any information regarding the homicide of Lori Heimer, please call the Saline County Sheriff's Office at 785-826-6500 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. There is a reward of $37,500 being offered for information that leads to the arrest conviction of the person or persons responsible for Lori's murder. So, and if anybody has any information, no matter how small or insignificant you might think it might be, call it in anyway, and let the sheriff's department decide whether that information is needed or not needed. Don't make the decision for them. Call it in and let them make that decision.
So basically, the vehicles of interest were just these mystery clients.
Don't know if it's mystery clients or just trucks that were seen in the area. I'm not sure.
Well, I had read that she was. I don't know if I just read it online somewhere that she had mentioned she had some like clients that were coming to her house that day, and she
Right.
described them as,
Right.
like city people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she meant like from Salina or from another city, but she did say Salina or city people. She did say that.
Well, if
And
you ask somebody from like New York City, if you would consider like you live in Salina, I wouldn't really consider you as so like Salina. It is a city, but it's not like the most cityest of cities, So I wonder
right,
like what she
right.
means by city people.
It means barely 50,000 people here. It's kind of a city, but with more of a small town feel, I guess I should say. Deonta said I pronounced it correctly, and thank you for sharing Wanda Dyer's information tonight. Dave Dyer. I'm assuming Dave would be her husband, I'm guessing. Wanda's husband.
Maybe.
It's kind of sad that Wanda hasn't been found yet. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And I just did this one today. I saw him listed on KBI, but there was no photo. I had to find one. This is Michael Gimple, missing from here in Salina since May 21st, 2025. He's 45, 6'1", 160 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. Don't have any more than that, but if anybody has any information regarding Michael's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Michael located and back to where he needs to be. And Dirt Roads and Main Street says, hello, Ricky and Derek.
That's Norm. Yeah, it's been a little while since he's been missing.
Every time I hear the name Norm, I think of Cheers and Norm. Hello, everybody.
That's why we call him.
Yeah, Scott Messer-Smith's here watching from Emporia. How are you doing, Scott?
Nice. I know that name.
It's been a long time since I've been to Emporia. And this one, I just updated it yesterday. Was it last night or this morning? Can't remember what. No, it was yesterday before I had to go to work. I had to be at work at 1 yesterday. So it was yesterday morning. But I messaged it. There's a Ginger Hudson page on Facebook, and I messaged it to them and found out that it's actually 2 of her 4 children that are running the page. And they thank me for the support, and they've shared the flyer on that page, and they've commented on her flyer on Kansas Missing and Unsolved yesterday, and I thought that was kind of cool. And I did watch it. They did the 2 sisters did a podcast on the Vanish podcast about Ginger's case, and I listened to that today, so that was pretty informative. And this is Ginger Mae Hudson, missing from Pittsburgh, Kansas since August 19th, 1993. She was 33 when she went missing. She'd now be 65. She's 5'4", 148 pounds, auburn hair, hazel eyes. She was last seen by a city employee and neighbor at 3:30 p.m. on August 19th outside of her mobile home, an eighth of a mile north of 560th Avenue on 180th Street in rural Pittsburgh, Kansas. Her boyfriend, when he arrived home at 7:30, Ginger was not there, and all of her personal belongings were left behind. The information I heard on the podcast was that she had decided they had like a stock tank in the front of the trailer that they use like a swimming pool, and she decided to take a dip in it. And I guess when he got home, her radio was out there, her flip-flops were still there, there were 2 beers sitting there, and a radio sitting there, and all that was sitting there untouched. So he reported her missing just before midnight. So it took him a while to report her because he said he was making phone calls and looking for her and things like that. After searching the property and telephoning friends, as I was saying, Ginger's never been heard from again, and she does have 4 children. And when she went missing, she was 33. She'd now be 65. She's 5'4", weighs 148 pounds, has auburn hair and hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a white sleeveless shirt and dark-colored shorts, and she has a surgical scar on the inside of her bottom lip. I think the clothing might be a little off because I don't think she was probably wearing that in the stock tank, I don't think. The podcast that I watched did allude to the boyfriend and the inconsistencies in his story and how he had changed it multiple times. And at one point in recent years, I think it was 2020, out of the blue, he called one of the daughters that's running the page and said, hey, if you want to find your mom, get a hold of the state of New Mexico, or no, it was Arizona, Arizona, that she was killed in a car wreck there, and you can get a death certificate there. She would be listed as a Jane Doe probably. which turned out to be untrue. And then he called her again and said, well, it was my mistake. She was in the wreck, but she wasn't killed. She was still alive, allegedly. So, I mean, so he's changed his story multiple times. But anyway, if you have any information regarding Ginger's disappearance, or you know her whereabouts, please call the Crawford County, Kansas Sheriff's Department at 620-724-8274 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Ginger located and back to where she needs to be.
It's saying here that Pittsburgh's kind of known for coal mining back in the day.
Yeah.
And it said that the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum is located near there, and then also the site of the Bloody Bender Massacre.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, also on that podcast, they talked to her brother that's closest in age to her, and he was saying he felt like maybe there might have been some organized crime involvement because he had been hearing that Ginger's boyfriend and his dad were involved in money laundering for the mafia through their cattle business. Yeah. And they were thinking maybe Ginger heard something that maybe she wasn't supposed to hear and was going to go public with it or whatever. And they found out she was going to, so they may have silenced her. I mean, that was a theory that her brother had. He's not 100% sure on it, but it's just a theory that he had. It's an interesting part.
It's like web sleuths, like pretty much anybody that's ever read about this case points out that her boyfriend changed his story. I mean, you change your story once, what are we doing here? Like
he's changed it. He's changed it like 3 or 4 times.
So I'm saying, like, if you really have nothing to do with something like this, like, I could understand like forgetting a small detail or something, but like you change your story one time. If I was a detective, I'd be like, okay, we have an unreliable narrator here. This person's just going to say whatever they have to say.
And they said at one point early in the investigation, he became like overly helpful. He was, they came out and searched the property, and he was like, did you look here? Did you look there? Did you look here? Did you look there? And he went down and voluntarily did a lie detector test without being asked or anything. He just went down there and asked to do one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was like he was doing everything he could to clear his name. So, I mean, that's kind of sketchy. So,
Gone Missing has shared us into their group. Scott Messerschmidt is watching from Emporia. Queenie said in Pittsburgh, Laura Ingalls Wilder, though that is in Mansfield, Missouri. Okay. I was just reading on a blog. It could be wrong, yeah.
There's a little one, too, in Independence, Kansas, and then there's some in South Dakota. Huh. Didn't know that. They don't get out much. No.
Me neither.
All right. And there's another unsolved homicide from here in town. Gina Bridget Cyphers. And you can see on the right there the trailer that she was found murdered in there. She was 24 years old. She had an infant son. And by all accounts, she was a loving mother and good person. It was December 28th, 1995. Gina dropped off her 15-month-old son at a daycare program called Morning Out for Moms at a Salina church. When she didn't return a couple hours later, the daycare called Gina's boyfriend at work. He went to the mobile home they shared and found Gina brutally murdered. So, baby was suddenly without his mom, and police were left with a case that has proven to be a tough one, obviously, because it's still unsolved. It was a crowded mobile home park. In the information I got for this, it said in the heart of the city, but it's not really in the heart. It was more on the west side of town. So I don't know why they said heart of the city. They were close together. The violence happened between 9 a.m. and noon. Still, all these years later, Gina Cyphers' murder remains unsolved. Initial newspaper reports said she was stabbed, but police are still keeping a lot of details secret. They say they have a lot of leads that have gone nowhere. If you look down there again at that playing card down there, it alludes that she had been stabbed, strangled, and possibly sexually assaulted. So it's more information than the newspaper ever put out. Anyway, if you have any information on Gina's death, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or you can go to www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link there to submit your tip. You may receive a cash reward of up to $1,000, and you're not required to give your name. Or you can call the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. There's also a governor's reward of $5,000 available for the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Gina's death. So there again, if you have any information, no matter how small you think it might be, get it called in and let investigators decide whether that's something they need or not. So let them make that decision. Don't make it for them.
That Little House on the Prairie Museum, it's under 70 miles from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
The reason the blog was talking about it is they were saying that they were saying in that area there's a lot of roads leading in and out.
Right.
It'd just be kind of tough. Like even the day of, somebody had, unless you knew where you were looking, there's a lot of roads leading out of that area. Basically, is what they were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a Laura Ingalls. I didn't know there was a Little House on the Prairie Museum in Kansas at all.
I didn't either.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. And there's another one from here in town, another one that's I've been following quite lengthy over the years and still unresolved. It was Nellie Mae Hubbard. The lighter up there is basically the only physical evidence that they have found at the crime scene at that time that they feel was the killer's. It was found under her body when they rolled her off the cot that she slept in the living room. But that is the actual lighter. You can still, on the picture of the lighter where it's closed, you can see the fingerprint dust along the top of it there. But Nellie Mae Hubbard's murder is still unsolved after 44 years. It happened on March 14th, 1981. Nellie was found deceased in her residence at 1008 East Elm Street on the cot she slept in in her living room. She was covered with a sheet, and the scarf she usually wore was found on the floor. Nellie put up a struggle during her attack. Ultimately, she died of asphyxiation. She also suffered 8 broken ribs. One was broken in 2 places. She also had a broken bone in her throat. She also had an injury to the back of her skull. She also had bruises on her arms, and there was evidence of other internal injuries. She put up quite the fight, it sounds like. Upon searching Nellie's home, investigators found $93,000 in cash and over $100,000 in CDs, certificates of deposits, and a large quantity of silver coins dating back to 1886. Investigators also discovered that Nellie's home was filled with miscellaneous household items, trash, and other clutter that made 2 bedrooms unusable. Nellie Hubbard deserves to be able to rest in peace, so let's please help bring her killer to justice. If you have any information, please call the Salina Police Department at 785-826-7210, or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477, or text SA TIPS to Crimes, which is 274-637, or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit your tip that way. Or call the KBIs at 1-800-572-7463. And another little interesting note about the $93,000 in cash that was found. It was not found all in one location. It was scattered throughout the house in small amounts inside tin cans, which I thought was kind of interesting. So, and being that the 2 bedrooms were completely unusable, they said she was basically a hoarder, basically. So,
yeah. So that $93,000 in today's money would be $329,000. The deposits and certificates would be worth around $531,000 in today's money.
Wow.
And even just that $100 in her wallet was worth around, that would be like finding $355 in money.
Wow.
So she was basically in modern day, not back then, but in modern day, $862 million, or $862,000 was just left there. That's crazy money, and no matter what time you're in, I don't see how anybody, either whoever was mad at Nellie wanted to just get rid of her because of something they were pissed off about, or they had no idea she had all of that. I just don't see anybody doing something as crazy as taking somebody's life. And then obviously 44 years, they kind of have gotten away with it so far. Why would you leave almost $1 million just laying there,
Right. Yeah, they're thinking maybe, I guess some theories are that it was a robbery gone bad or something along those lines. Because I mean, who knows? Maybe he found some of the tin cans and before he or she killed her and took off before they could find the rest. I don't know. No idea.
Knowledge Queen of Little House. Well, maybe me and Stephanie will come to you, Queenie. You can give us we can do a YouTube video about Little House on the Prairie Museum. That would be rad.
That'd be cool.
I like Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Megan Renee Fogelfond. We need to reach out to Ashley Duff. I haven't talked to her in a couple years, but
she's me either.
The person who keeps track of this case. At least from what I've understood, she kind of keeps track of it the best.
Yeah, and I listened to the Vanish podcast on Renee Fogelsong after I got done watching the other one. I was scrolling through seeing what other podcasts they have that were Kansas related, and they had one for Renee also, and I found that was, or Megan, and it was pretty interesting also. The Megan Renee Fogelsong's missing from Alden, Kansas since December 2015. 21 when she was missing. She'll now be 31. She's 5'4", 150 pounds, sandy blonde hair, green eyes. Her last activity on Facebook was November 30th, 2015. And there was an unconfirmed sighting. I got to change this because originally they thought it was Christmas time in 2015, but it was a friend of hers that saw her and she got confused on the time of the year. It was actually around Thanksgiving time, 2015. That guy's liquor in Larned, Kansas. Again, when Megan went missing, she was 21. She would now be 31, 5'4", weighs around 150 pounds. Her weight does fluctuate. She has sandy blonde hair that she does dye occasionally, and she has green eyes. She wears glasses but does have contact lenses. She has a tattoo on her left hip of a flower design up there pictured on the far right there. Let's see. She also has a tattoo on her left wrist of a heart design that says thick thin. It's kind of an infinity within the heart that says thick thin there. And a tattoo on her upper right chest. And you can see that looks like another infinity type tattoo on her upper right chest there. Let's see here. She also has a tattoo on her outer left calf of a dream catcher, which I've never been able to get a photo of. And we've talked about her case in the past, and we've talked about that her boyfriend at that time, David Madden, was the prime suspect in her case, and we talked about the fact that he killed his dad and led the sheriffs on a chase, and then they got him on the side of the road, and as they approached the vehicle, he shot himself and killed himself. So he took anything he knew about the case to the grave with him. Not that he was probably going to say anything about it anyway. And a lot of people suspected, as I did myself, that he, possibly killed his dad because his dad knew what happened and he wanted to make sure that that secret never got out. But some people don't think that was the case. Some people do. But we probably will never really know. But if you have any information regarding her case or you know her whereabouts, please call the Rice County, Kansas Sheriff's Department at 620-257-7876 or 620-257-2363 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And see what we can do to help get Megan located and back to where she needs to be. I know at some point he had made the comment that wouldn't have to worry about Megan anymore. I know one time he was being investigated he had a large quantity of pipe bombs and illegal guns, and he had one machine gun in his possession that he said he had found in Iraq and brought back with him, but never registered. And during the podcast, they talked to a guy that he was in the service with, and the guy said that David Madden never went to Iraq, that he was recuperating from an arm injury and never went over there. So where he actually got that gun, don't know, but he sure didn't get it in Iraq because he never went there. So don't know.
Do you know if she was born in Liberal, Kansas? This article's saying she was.
I'm trying to remember because they talked about that during the podcast. I think she was born in Kansas. She went and lived in Illinois for a while with her stepmom and stuff. And then she came back to Kansas. So,
well, it says she was born in 94 in Liberal, Kansas, which is like 25 miles from me. Okay. I wonder if but I don't know when she moved to Illinois. Maybe she was real little. I was just curious, maybe if anybody in the Liberal area remembered her.
I don't know. I mean, she was young when she moved to Illinois, and then she moved back to Kansas when she was older and I believe out of high school. So,
yeah.
But yeah. That's another tragic case. And, she did split up from David for a time and she went back to him. And, people warned her about going back to him. But And I understand, when you're with an abuser, that they can suck you back in pretty quick and pretty easily. So
yeah. He sounds, I mean, I never met the guy, but just from the stuff I've read about, and heard about, he sounded like a ticking time bomb. Not very often, but every once in a while I'll come across a person in public that just like their behavior and the way they act, I'll tell my wife and kids, I'm like, that person is going to kill somebody someday. And they're looking forward to it. Like some people are just not right in the head, man. I think your mic may have cut out, Ricky. I'm not hearing you. I am not hearing you.
hang on, there we go.
There you go. Now
Okay,
I got you. Now I got you.
Yeah. Oh, I bumped the cord. And Thomas Wright saying Randy Leach.
Go ahead.
Do it.
Yeah, I was gonna have you read
Thomas
that
Wright. Yeah, Thomas Wright was saying Randy Leach was big when I was young. They still haven't figured out it as of yet. His mom was my mail lady. Oh, okay. Now they still haven't figured out Randy's case yet. I know there's been countless searches in different areas. I know there's one property that they really want to get on and search. They want to search the pond on the land, but the owners will not let them do any kind of search on their land at all. So
I wonder what the legalities are of. I understand somebody saying you can't bring your equipment on my property, you can't walk on my grass. I wonder what the legalities are of getting a drone above the property. And sometimes you can just look from high up at a body of water, and especially in Kansas, there's not like a lot of deep water canals. You could probably see like a dark area of his whole car, because his car's missing. I'm wondering if you could just take a drone over there and just go over their land and deal with any kind of fines they give you. Just get it up there real quick, do a scan, video it, and then have somebody with a good eye look at it.
That's a good question. I don't know what the legalities would be to do that or not. I mean, you're not physically on the property. So I don't know.
If anybody knows the coordinates of the lake, the little pond they want to search, I'm sure you can even look on Google Maps. And that happened so long ago that they probably got an aerial shot of the pond. Somebody let me know the coordinates of the pond they want to search, and we can look that up. But anyway, tell us about Wanda Dyer, Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah, this one's a sad one. I can't believe they haven't found her yet. But this is Wanda Dyer, missing from Lawrence, Kansas, since March 21st, 2025. She's 74, 5'2", 117 pounds, black and gray hair and brown eyes. She was last seen in Eudora, Kansas, outside of Zeb's Coffee House on March 21st at 7:18 p.m., which was confirmed by a photo, I'm assuming from a surveillance camera. Wanda does suffer from dementia and does experience confusion and memory loss. It's believed that she may be heading possibly to the Kansas City area. My understanding is at one point in time she did live in Kansas City, and they were theorizing that maybe she was trying to make it back to Kansas City where she lived before. But anyway, she's 74 years old, 5'2", weighs 117 pounds, has black and gray hair and brown eyes. She was believed to be wearing a black jacket with a pink lining or a pink hoodie, multicolored pants, and carrying a backpack with a floral pattern bag. All right. You can see up there in the top right-hand corner there, that's what she was last wearing. The floral print pants, the black jacket. Can't tell if that's a pink lining in the hood or if it's a pink hoodie, and then that big backpack also. But if you have any information regarding Wanda's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Lawrence, Kansas Police Department Dispatch at 785-843-0250, or you can call the KBI at 785-296-4017. And again, you can also keep up with Wanda's case on Find Wanda Dyer in that Facebook group as well, which I try to follow that one too to see what's going on. So let's see what we can do to help get Wanda found and back to where she needs to be. And I did see in a comment down there that Dave Dyer is her husband. So, tell him he's very welcome. And, we'll do everything we can to keep her flyer out there and making sure people don't forget that she's still missing. And it's hard to believe, 4 months, a little over 4 months, and she still hasn't been located yet. Let's hope she's okay wherever she is. Let's see what we got over here in comments here real quick. Queenie says, I'm sorry that as a teacher, I can attest to that. I had kids in first grade who I knew were not going to do well mentally through their lives. And then 16 to 20 years later, I'd see them on Slide Most Wanted or on the jail page. Yeah. There was a kid that used to bully me in high school that I've seen him in and out of jail quite frequently since we became adults. well, since the advent of internet anyway, since they started doing the booking postings. See, Thomas Wright says, yep, Adventures with Purpose helped, but it didn't find anything. He says he grew up in Sarkoksky Lake, just outside of Linwood. Yeah, Adventures with Purpose, they've also made a comment they will never go back and look again. Apparently, they were receiving threats of some sort while they were there, so they said they will never go back. Chris says he watched an interview that Annette Lawless did with a guy named Kelly Starnes. He tells Annette that he knew David Madden, and he tells about what he thinks happened to Megan. Oh, I'll have to see if I can find that video. It'd be interesting to watch that.
It says here that with Wanda's case that there's they learned that there's like not a lot of cameras in the area and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a situation happen to me the other day where I needed to look around and see if there was any cameras that caught what happened, and there wasn't. Well, I haven't looked. The places where I thought there would definitely be, there was cameras, but they weren't facing where the incident happened to me. So I got to go around to other businesses and stuff. But that is kind of an issue. Like, I think the country and even myself is divided on like everybody's, either read or heard about the book 1984, and so you think of government surveillance and cameras on every corner, and the red, white, and blue in you thinks like that's horse crap and you don't want anything to do with it. But then like stuff like this happens, and then I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, I would forego my public. I mean, it's kind of a oxymoron. My public privacy, I would forego my public privacy in exchange for having cameras where when people, like especially if somebody with dementia or something goes walking off, like we can kind of find them based on cameras. And I don't know. I think that a lot of these smaller communities, their lack of cameras is going to be but it is like a double-edged sword. There's not many people that want to have cameras everywhere, but they would really help a lot if they were in public and you can kind of watch people's movements whenever it comes time to look for people you haven't seen in a while,
Yeah. And Deonta is saying, yes, Wanda was talking about going to visit her mom and aunt just before she left. Her husband had to remind her that they had passed on. That's why it's believed she was headed to Kansas City, where she grew up. Okay. Okay, so she used to be a Kansas City resident and grew up there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's scary. She's trying to visit people that aren't here anymore, and so obviously, if you're her family, you want to know where she is.
Yeah. I mean, it's been over 4 months. I mean, it's scary.
Yeah.
It really is.
Not good. Well, we're going to talk about some missing and exploited teens, some possible runaways. We'll be right back after this. You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast.
All right. And this is one that I just did this morning, and I'm going to bump over here to Kansas Missing real fast and see if there's any updates from Finney County Sheriff's Office here real quick and see if they're saying anything. They show she's still missing. Okay, that's why I wanted to verify before I got to covering it, because I didn't want to cover it if I didn't need to. But and I did not repeat the name accidentally. That's actually the name, Magdalena Gomez. That's what Finney County has as well. That's what's on KPI. So I'm not sure why the Gomez twice, but that's what it is. Magdalena Gomez, missing from Garden City, Kansas. And missing since July 19th, 20th, 2025. 15 years old, 5'3", 150 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She left her residence in unknown clothing description and an unknown destination. They said she went missing during the night hours of July 19th into July 20th, so I'm saying before midnight to sometime after midnight. And she's 15 years old, 5'3", weighs 150 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Magdalena's disappearance, her whereabouts, please call the Finney County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-272-3700. Or the KBI is 785-296-4017. And see what we can do to get Magdalena found and back to where she needs to be.
That's pretty scary. 15 years old.
Yeah. Thomas has a good point. Says, wish we knew where Wanda grew up. That would be a good starting place. Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
And Queenie says, many Hispanics will list the mother's maiden name and then the dad's name. That doesn't mean mom and dad were related at all before they got married. That's true. It'd be the same with, like, American name Smith. I mean, just because your last name's Smith doesn't mean you're related. Or Johnson.
I know a lot of like Martinez's, and I'm like, oh, you're related to them? They're like, not at all. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess Gomez is a really common name.
Yeah. Since I guess Gomez or Martinez or Rodriguez would be, the equivalent to Smith, Johnson, Thompson, something like that.
Now, Chabruggy and Relaford were safe.
Hey, yeah, definitely. This is Kaylee O'Donnell. I had to update her flyer because the young lady that she was thought to be with has already been found. But Kaylee O'Donnell is missing from Kansas City, Kansas since July 17th, 2025. She's 17, 4'11" to 5'1", weighs between 140 to 157 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. And the other update they had me add to the flyer is, believe it, she now may be in Colorado. She also has a tattoo of a mushroom on her forearm and a tattoo of the letters A and C on her finger. So if you have any information regarding Kaylee's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Kaylee located and back to where she needs to be. One question I always had in the back of my mind is when I do these flyers for these teens and they're missing from, like, she's missing from Kansas City and thought to be in Colorado. Okay, who's helping her get to Colorado?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Scary stuff.
Yeah.
And then also, like, real quick, we talk about this every like 6 months, but harboring somebody who's on a missing poster or is being like looked at as a runaway is not a great place to be legally. And if you're a young person listening to this and you're thinking of taking off and you're like, oh, I know this person that has their own place and they're over 18 and they say they can crash there. An adult that's like willing to break a law that strict to harbor you does not have your best intentions at heart. And again, if you're being like abused or something, call the police, get yourself away from danger. But running away to an adult's house who's complicit with harboring a minor as a runaway is not a good person. They don't have good intentions for you whatsoever.
I agree with that. And this is another one here that I was asked to put out again before I even had a chance to update it to locate it safe. This is Rihanna Greer. Missing from Iola, Kansas since July 26, 2025. She's 17, 5 foot tall, 90 pounds, brown hair, green eyes. I believe she might still be in the local Iola area, or she may have been be in the Wichita, Kansas area. Again, she's 17, 5 foot tall, 90 pounds, brown hair, green eyes. You have any information? Oh, she does have a nose piercing in the left side of her nose there. So if you have any information regarding Rihanna's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately. Or call the Allen County, Kansas 911 Communications Center at 620-365-1437 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Rihanna found and back to where she needs to be. And the picture on the left, I believe, is more recent than the one on the right, because the one on the right was sent to me when I was asked to reissue the flyer, and it was dated 2022.
Really?
I went ahead and used it because of the hair color variance, because I don't know if she's still got the brown hair, or if she's dyed it, or anything like that. So I just kind of did it for a hair variance, basically. And that happens with these kids. Sometimes I get dated pictures and have to dig for more recent. And I'll use whatever I have to use to get them out there. And sometimes when I use it with older pictures, people will send me more recent pictures. So
when I made that documentary about you, I got to watch a few people watch it, and everybody at the exact same time at the very beginning when you were like explaining how you do flyers, but you were also making the flyer and typing and copying and pasting. Everybody was very blown away with your multitasking skills. They're like, I don't see how he's having a conversation with you and making a flyer. Like, it's pretty impressive. I mean, I was filming you, so I wasn't really noticing it until somebody pointed it out, and I was like, yeah, that is wild.
part of that is dad skills because I've had to learn to do that while I'm typing a flyer, and my daughter's will be standing here talking to me. So it's multitask. I mean, it's fun.
I was impressed, brother.
This one's Cassidy Timberlake. I don't know if she's related to Justin or not. No clue. But she's missing from Kansas City, Kansas since July 27, 2025. She's 17, 5 foot tall, 140 pounds, brown hair, not sure on an eye color. Even KBI doesn't have an eye color. So she is believed to be with Emma Ryland Torres, who's also considered a missing endangered runaway. And there's a photo up there with what they were last seen wearing up there on the right. Again, Cassidy, 17, 5 foot tall, 140 pounds, brown hair. Eye color is unknown at this point. If you have any information regarding Cassidy's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Cassidy located and back to where she needs to be. And then we should be covering Emma Ryland's here pretty quick. I think I put him in back to back. I'm pretty sure.
Is this her? Yeah.
That'd be it. That'd be it.
Okay.
This is actually given name is Ryland Torres, missing from Kansas City, Kansas since July 27, 2025, 16 years old, 5'3", weighs between 120 and 140 pounds, black hair that was last known to be dyed blonde and brown eyes. Ryland is a transgender female and is known by the name Emma. It's believed that Emma may be with Cassidy Timberlake, who's also considered a missing endangered runaway. Emma's 16 years old, 5'3", weighs between 120 and 140 pounds, has black hair that is black at the roots and dyed blonde at the ends, and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Emma's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And so we can do to get Emma located and back to where she needs to be. I tell you, doing transgender flyers can be very challenging because I have to get the wording just right, because if I don't and I post it, people are very unforgiving in the comments. So I have to, really write it and then rewrite it and make sure I have everything worded just correctly.
I don't know. I've kind of learned that the internet is only as powerful as you let it be. Like, I'm glad you are, and it's great that you're that you do that. But no matter how hard you try, I bet you there's still something nasty said on every. It's just people suck, man. Like, people don't suck. People that are on the internet typing, they usually suck, dude. Like, and they probably wouldn't say it in person, but yeah, and internet comment sections are just awful places.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, like I said, I just have to be very careful when I'm wording it to make sure I word it correctly, because if I don't, they let me know about it, and sometimes not very nicely. So I just have to be very, very careful. Let's see. This one is Caden Kukin, who we have covered before in the past, and sadly, he is missing yet again. Some of these kids just do not know how to stay put, and it's sad. I don't know if it's something with the placement. I don't know if they're in foster care. I don't know if it's something going on in the home, if they're still in the home. But anyway, Caden Cookins, he's missing out of Wichita, Kansas since July 24th, 2025. He's 17. He's 5'10", 150 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Don't have much more than that, but if you have any information regarding Caden's disappearance, or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9254 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Caden located and back to where he needs to be.
Hey, before this, I noticed, I don't know what it was, maybe it's the anniversary, that rodeo guy that went missing in Nebraska. I saw a ton of friends of mine share his story this week. You know why they would be? We should cover him next week. Chance Engelbert, maybe?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yep, Chance Engelbert. Yeah, we haven't covered him in a while.
Yeah, I'm not. Maybe it was an anniversary or something, but I saw a lot of people share his story this week, and that's still going, man. That's been a long time.
Yeah.
Let's cover Ryan Larson also next week.
Yeah, he's on the list for tonight. So.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and here's another one. Yeah, and here's another one that I had to update his flyer before I even had a chance to locate him safe, because I was going through looking at flyers and checking to see if they were still listed on KBI, and he was missing with two other ones, and they were all taken off KBI. So I sent out an email asking if they were found, and was told that one was had been located, and Chet and the one we'll cover after him had already took off again. So this is Caleb Chetwood, missing from Wichita, Kansas since July 29, 2025. He's 15, 5'9" to 6 foot tall, 220 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Caleb's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get Caleb located and back to where he needs to be. And Ronnie's saying it's easy to seem like a tough guy when you're hiding out in mom's basement in front of a laptop. Yeah, that's a good point. This is Cole Johnson. He was one of the other ones that was thought to be with Caleb Chetwood and the other young man. He's missing from Wichita, Kansas since July 29, 2025. He's 18, 5'7", 115 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Don't have much more than that, but if you have any information regarding Cole's disappearance, or you know where he's at, call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9254 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get him located and back to where he needs to be. Yep, he was the other one that I couldn't even get him updated or located before he took off again.
Yikes.
So,
all right, we got 4 more cases for you. In the Free Zone with Norm is next over at Actual Small Town Media YouTube page. You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. We got some out-of-state cases. We'll be right back after this.
all right. And Dana Bruce, somebody we cover quite frequently on the show because we want to see her get found and back to her family, because it's been quite some time, and it's very disheartening that nobody's came forward in her case and said anything. I did notice this morning when I got up, I was looking at my newsfeed on Facebook. Actually, I wasn't even out of bed yet. I was just lying there flipping through Facebook. This was my day off. I just kind of lazied a little bit. But there was an article that came out on Kmu.com, which is a news site out of Missouri. It says Sedalia police call attention to 2008 missing persons case. And it's a short article. It just says missing persons investigation in Sedalia has remained open for 17 years. Dana Bruce was reported missing on October 8th, with over 200 leads sent to the Sedalia Police Department. In a news release Monday, this article was dated the 28th. The police department said it followed up the leads with cadaver dogs, ground penetrating radar, waterway dredging with boats and dive teams. The then 23-year-old would be 40 years old now, or as of Monday. Bruce's height was 5'2", 135 pounds. She had auburn hair, hazel eyes, which my flyer goes into more description of that. Her description includes a tattoo on her upper left arm depicting a teddy bear with the name Dylan. Says anyone with information can reach out to the Sedalia Police Department. And that was the whole article. But at least it's getting some more press. That's the good thing. But let's see, now to get into her actual flyer here. And missing from Sedalia, Missouri, October 4th, 2008. She was 23 when she was missing. She's now 40. or would now be 40. She's 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. Last seen her at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was seen at Malone's bar on Main Street with the young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man that Dana was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, she was 23 when she went missing. She would now be 40. 5'2", 98 pounds, has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots, black at the ends, with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. She has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or toll free at 866-362-6422 or private investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070 and see what we can do to get Dana located and back to her family where she needs to be.
Sure.
A lot of information on her flyer, which I like. I like it when we have information. So I feel like the more information we can put out there, jog people's memories, maybe people remember things maybe they hadn't thought about for a while, and maybe get, some more information in there. So hopefully that helps.
Have you ever I know there's a few podcasts about Dana. Have you ever seen any news sources out of Missouri doing how sometimes they'll do an update on Dietrich or something? Do you ever seen a news source do an update on Dana?
The one I just read was a news source out of Missouri, Kmu, and they, like I said, they just did that article a couple of days ago. So at least
I'm talking like a TV station.
No, I haven't seen anything like that done recently. No.
I wonder if Missouri has internet lawless.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's what is her name? She gets a hold of me periodically from KMBC and will ask me about cases, and she's doing something similar in one of the Kansas City stations. I think it's KMBC. Yeah, KMBC. So she's doing something similar on their station. And this is one that's kind of troubling too. I've been in contact with her mom, talking to her, and it's just crazy. And just have these kids go missing and how they stay missing. And to me, they've got to be having help. They have to be. I mean, that's just the way it's got to be. This one is Adriana Drew. I don't know if it's Bussey or Busey. I'm going to say Busey. Missing out of Carthage, Missouri since July 17, 2025. She's 17, 5'1", 160 pounds, brown hair that's got red and blonde in it, highlights, and brown eyes. She did leave her car and her cell phone behind. Her ears and her right nostril are pierced. She was last seen wearing a white shirt and red and black pajama pants, which is that photo on the far right there. If you have any information regarding Adriana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Carthage, Missouri Police Department at 417-237-7200 or 417-359-9100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422 and see what we can do to get Adriana located and back home to her family. Her mom's, posting on her Facebook daily, that she hasn't been found and begging people to send in information and stuff like that. So hopefully we can help get her located. Yeah, I went ahead and got Ryan Larson back in the lineup because we haven't talked about him in a while, and I did find a couple little notes I'll talk about after I cover the flyer here. Ryan Larson's missing from La Vista, Nebraska since May 17th, 2021. It was 11 when he went missing, and this I updated today that he would now be 16. He's
Wow.
5'8", 125 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. He walked out of La Vista Elementary School located at 78th and Terry Drive in La Vista Monday about noon. The last confirmed sighting of Ryan was at 2 p.m. on Monday, which would have been back then. Ryan is autistic and is considered high functioning. Prior to his disappearance, Ryan had done searches regarding hiding from the police, hiding underground, and how to avoid being spotted. Again, he was 11 when he went missing. He's now 16. He's 5'8", 125 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. He was last known to be wearing a black jacket, pictured far right up there, blue jeans, an Old Navy shirt, and had a polka dotted umbrella, which has since been located. It was located by a trash dumpster in his complex. He did have his backpack, but it's unknown if he had any supplies in there or just books and normal school supplies. His umbrella, like I said, was located by a dumpster. So they were surmising maybe he climbed into the dumpster and the trash picked up the dumpster before he got out of it, but they've searched landfills to no avail and haven't found him in any landfills. So law enforcement is now considering foul play in Ryan's disappearance. The information that I saw today, I did a little bit of digging on Facebook or YouTube, and I found one article that talked about his mom's lawsuit against Papillion La Vista School. Yeah, they dismissed the lawsuit. A district court judge dismissed the most recent lawsuit brought forth by the mother of Ryan Larson. Tammy Larson filed a lawsuit in Sarpy County Court against Papillion La Vista School District, seeking damages in Ryan's disappearance in 2021. The latest lawsuit was filed in March, a few months after a similar lawsuit was dismissed in federal court. Our attorneys argued in March that the school was negligent in its supervision of the sixth grade special needs child by allowing him to leave his elementary school nearly 3 years ago. This article was from May of 2024. But the Pavilion La Vista Community School District attorney said La Vista West Elementary School was following Ryan's Individualized Education Program, or IEP, which didn't require one-on-one supervision and did allow him to leave. In addition, the district noted that the federal case, also seeking an unspecified amount of money as well as punitive damages, had been dismissed in November. At that time, the federal judge said that Ryan's family failed to prove that the school officials had violated his civil rights. In February of 2023, Tammy Larson petitioned to have Ryan declared legally dead, arguing that it was unlikely he was still alive due to his disability, but a Sarpy County judge denied that petition as well. So, interesting stuff there. But if you do have any information on Ryan's disappearance, or you know of his whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the La Vista, Nebraska Police Department at 402-331-1582. See if we can't help get him found and back to where he needs to be. But yeah, the two right-hand pictures there are what he was wearing when he went missing. I'm thinking the lighting on the very far right one makes the one part look orange instead of red because of the lighting, I think, but it's the same jacket nonetheless.
So I don't know these people at all, but just my opinion, the fact that his mom, like, I don't know, if one of my kids went missing, like the whole, like a petition to declare him legally dead at like the 2-year mark is really scary. And this isn't me saying she did anything. I'm just saying, like, every time we talk about Ryan and the more I read about it, to me, it's very odd behavior to try to make sure your kid's declared legally dead when it's like below, I think it's 5 years in Nebraska, and it was at the 2-year mark that she asked for it. Also,
Yeah.
like, I think that it's very easy to see her continuously trying to take the school system to court. Like, you could see that as like a mother bear trying to, like if my
Right.
kid missing and I thought the school, I would be very vocal. But I mean, I could see how, like, if you're just a fly on the wall, it looks like somebody who is trying to get her son declared legally dead way before you're supposed to. And two, she's trying to either get financial compensation or a one-upping against this school. Like, to me, like, that whole part of this case is just odd to me as a parent. No legal, I'm not saying she did anything illegal. I'm just saying, looking on, that's odd behavior to me.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what her reasoning was to have him declared. There was a reason she was trying to do it, and I can't remember what it was. But I know there was a reason. Something about pursuing something else legally by having him declared dead, but I don't remember what it was. I wish I could remember.
I mean, we've talked to tons of families that haven't seen their loved one in years, and sometimes their faith that they're going to see him again. We all hope that they're seen again, but like reality is, like a lot of times you don't. So like when you're talking to a family member and they haven't seen their loved one in like 4 or 5 years, and they're just telling you like, oh, I think they're out there. I'm going to see him again. Like a part of you would never vocalize it, but a part of you is like, oh, I don't think you're not going to say it, but you're like the odds of you seeing this person again alive is so like. I think most people, I don't know. I think most people kind of hang on to hope when it's a situation like that. I don't know. Again, let me see. She said that they said that she tried to get him declared legally dead approximately 2 years after the disappearance. Her reason was to pursue legal claims against the school district. She believed they were negligent in allowing Ryan to leave. But I also read somewhere that the local police had a nickname for Ryan based on how many times he had, quote, like ran away. Like he was basically hiding. I think they called him the king, hide and seek, maybe. So I think Ryan taking off and not being accounted for a couple hours might have been something that was kind of normal.
Right.
And then if you look based on his searches and stuff, like the kid liked the idea of people looking for him. It sounds like, which is pretty normal. But yeah, I always thought that was a little odd that she how she moved, throughout that whole process.
It's interesting the searches that he did do, though.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, the whole thing's fascinating. It's just I just thought that was kind of odd. But anyway, yeah, man. Is that the last? Is that the last one?
Yep, that was the last one.
Awesome. Good show.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, a lot of cases. I know we've covered several of them. I didn't do a whole lot of new ones, so I had to brush off some older ones and get them back out, which is fine. I don't mind doing that because they need found too, or if they're unsolved homicides, they need to be solved too.
Yeah.
Especially and I know sometimes I go heavy on the Salina ones, but that's just me because I just don't feel like that there's enough attention brought to them by what we have left of local media and our law enforcement. I don't see anything hardly ever on their Facebook about any of these cases saying, hey, we're still seeking information in this case or that case. I never see any of that kind of thing. And it really bothers me. I don't know. I just think it just needs more. They need more attention. That's why I do what I do. And that's why I'm been getting out in the community and setting up at events and doing stuff like that, which I want to do that some more when I can. Of course, I have the blessings from the mall to whenever I have a weekend open, I can go out there and set up if I want. Which this weekend is my weekend to work, so it won't be this weekend, but maybe the next weekend I can do it. We'll see. That's what I want to do. But just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us tonight to go over these cases like we always do. I mean, it means a lot to me to have you guys here and going over these cases. It means a great deal to me that there's so many followers of the page and so much support on the page. And it really means a lot. I can't express how much it means. I just want to say, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight so we can go over these cases and just pray that, we're making a difference out here and we're helping get some cases resolved or inching them closer to being resolved. Just pray that these flyers fall on the right ears, the right hearts, that'll do the right things. I know there's people out there that know things about these cases that for whatever reason are reluctant to call their information in. So I just pray that you touch their heart and lead them to do it. I just pray these things in your name, Heavenly Father, until we see each other next week. Everybody stay safe. God bless and amen.
Amen.